The participants in today's session, local, regional, and international, hope to coordinate and develop a strategy which will address the very pervasive issue of child labor.
Yeah, child labor is pretty much everywhere, including in developed countries. Fair Trade International has labor standards, minimum requirements to ensure that fair trade commodities are grown and processed according to national law and relevant international conventions. One convention that is relevant here is the Child Labor Conventions of the International Labour Organization. So producers need to be compliant. And child labor is a problem throughout the world, not only in Belize, but in other sugarcane productions, with other commodities. And fair trade goes where we identify the problem.
The BSCFA's CEO, Oscar Alonso, told us that it is a great concern and one that they need to address if Belize's sugar industry is to remain viable and competitive in the international market. The BSCFA is fair trade certified, but in annual audits has been cited by that body for non-compliance in the area of child labor.
We had corrected it using our own internal control systems and so on, but we felt that we had to go beyond that and try to engage the entire community to enable that we tackle this issue of eliminating child labor. Also, we want to see how our efforts can assist the government of Belize, because this is a tripartite effort, I think, between government, industry, and workers, to try to see how, in a collaborative manner, we can resolve the issue of child labor.
What impresses us about Belizean sugarcane producers is they went beyond what they had to do in correcting the problem. They understood very concretely that the sustainable solution of this problem is when the communities own the problem, when they themselves identify it, that they discuss with youth and young people in their communities to understand what the reasons were for why they're engaged, and together come up with solutions.
Alonso says that the BSCFA has become proactive on the issue and they are already seeing the results. But along with results, they are also being faced with the reality of dire poverty.
We have carried out awareness programs. We have engaged the youth in relation to this matter and see what it is that needs to be done in order to deal with it. Our farmers this year have been rejecting applications for work by minors, okay? But then it has created a situation that we need to deal with. Families have been coming out to us saying, okay, our children need jobs, they cannot do it because of this situation with child labor. How are we going to maintain our families? How are we going to feed them? And this is why we're meeting today, because we need to put forward all the issues that we have found based on our research and our consultation with the communities, and also engaging those who view this matter in a similar manner and see how we can pool our resources to enable that joint action can be taken to alleviate the situation.
Fair Trade International's model calls for community involvement and voluntary best practices, including the investment of premium funds into education. Still, in a country where over 40% of the population lives below the poverty line, the issue of child labor is a daunting one to tackle.
The question is really difficult. Fair trade struggles with this day in and day out on ensuring that producers don't redistribute the problem somewhere else. Our standards are very clear. Children removed from child labor cannot be replaced by newer children. We talked about sustained, prolonged protection of children impacted by child labor. On the other hand, our model encourages funds in terms of premiums to be invested in community development. Education is one of the areas in which producers can elect to spend that premium money to ensure we address this problem. But governments ratify conventions. We need to collaborate with other interlocutors and stakeholders here to ensure that we pool our resources and skills and capacities to find sustainable solutions to these problems. But a child removed from school and put in the field is not a solution to poverty, is to ensure intergenerational poverty in sugarcane production.
The thrust of the session is the formulation of a GOB National Action Plan, which when implemented will show the world, and primarily markets, that sugar is being produced in a humane manner. Mike Rodon for News 5.